No, we're talking about how we ought to move strategically and effectively against him because they're telling us something by the name. Somebody say, prove it, Vicki. I said, somebody say, prove it, Vicki. See, people get me twisted thinking that this is just this girl over here bamming a gavel. It's been a minute since I've quoted. I quote from several books, but of course, this has been one of my favorites over the years. Look, as you can look at the back. As you can tell, 414 pages. Understanding the assault on the black man, black manhood, and black masculinity. I've been quoting from this for many, many years. On page 31, Dr. Wesley has a section called Hillary's Young Black Super Predators. Now, what Hillary are we talking about, family? What Hillary do you think are we talking about here in this book? Do y'all see this picture? She was first lady, right? I know everybody gonna be quick to say, why y'all want to always blame Hillary? Her husband was the one that did X, Y, and Z. I know her husband was the one that did it, silly. And I give Bill Clinton all that work. But she, his wife, Karen's going to get it too. Again, most of you all, too many of us don't understand how power works. She played her role in selling the bill. They used the nature of the woman, or the female in that case, Hillary Clinton, to help soften up the environment, to create the environment for the bill. See, you don't understand warfare before the legislation was signed. Do you understand that they have to first affect the court of public opinion? Do you understand that the media makes you think that every city is running amok with crime and that you're in danger of being destroyed? How many of y'all remember our 12-year-old brother, Tamir Rice? I'll read a little bit of it, so in case some of you may have forgotten some of the details. Here he says, the merciless drive-up shooting of 12-year-old Tamir by Officer Timothy Lohman and Officer Frank Garmbach, as well as the city of Cleveland's rationalization, listen, justification, and apologia for the murder of the harmless child are both legacies of what Dr. Perry, associate professor of the University of Minnesota Law School, calls America's super predator war of the 1990s. He says that if President Johnson had his war on poverty and Presidents Nixon and Reagan had their war on drugs, y'all listening? President Clinton and his helpmeet, somebody say that's that woman, the first lady, had their super predator war aimed specifically at young, i.e. adolescent, black males. He says, if you are shocked and appalled at the incidences today of the elementary school boys, mainly black boys, but put in actual handcuffs at their elementary school by police, then to a great extent, I suspect you can thank the Clintons for that too. He says a legacy of their super predator war. He talks about how Tamir Rice, some of you may not remember how when the officer shot Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old boy, just reminding you all, they described Tamir Rice as what? He looked like a big, scary adult. Are y'all listening? That's how white media described that young black baby. Dr. Wesley said his crime was that he refused to look like the adolescent that he was. Did y'all catch that? And he says, and that is a crime punishable by death if you're a black male. Y'all listen. Tanya said, what? Yes. See, that's why it's my job to point those things out. That's how they got away with open murder of our baby. That's how media described him. And that's the reason why labels do matter in the hands of the powerful, because they can literally take you and your people out. Keep listening. Where am I going with this? Hillary Clinton, he said, I'm talking to intelligent black people, right? So you all can stand a little bit of book reading. Hillary Clinton must not be given a pass. Why? Watch this. For her 1996 super predator remarks, he says that her apology during this year's campaign would be rejected because it was deceptive and thus disingenuous. How many remember when Hillary was running for office, she didn't expect to come up against so much black resistance. She couldn't believe that the faithful Negroes had the nerve to hold her accountable for calling black folks super predators. We were explaining how her words had consequences to criminalize generations of Black people, right? So Hillary lied and she apologized, right? Listen to what Dr. Wesley says. He says her apology during this year's campaign should be rejected. He said because it was deceptive and thus disingenuous. Somebody might say, well, why was it deceptive? She apologized for using the word. She didn't mean it. Y'all listen. Her claim to Jonathan Capehart of the Washington Post. How many of y'all know Jonathan Capehart's juicy self? That's a little black, little juicy, little dewy MSNBC host on the weekend. His funny looking self blocked me on Twitter for some odd, strange reason. Juicy self. Understand you? Just dewy and juicy. I'm doing research for my people, and that's how I accidentally find out these people that be blocking me. I'm like, child, what? I wouldn't even study you. His name ain't Jonathan Capehart. Capehart. It's Jonathan Capehart. We're gonna leave that alone. Watch this. He says that Hillary basically sat down before Jonathan got his little show on MSNBC. He was a writer for Washington Post, and by the way, he still is a media writer. Watch this. She sat down with him. Dr. Wesley says her claim to Jonathan Capehart of the Washington Post that she was just talking about the young people, but about that she was not talking about the young people, but about the drug cartels that victimize the people, young people, kids in her language, is flatly contradicted, Dr. Wesley says, by her own statement. Y'all listen. While on the campaign trail for her husband in New Hampshire. Are y'all listening? Don't y'all let these people see. Joy Reid defends Hillary Clinton. And my prophetic gift tells me, that's what we're going to put it on. Because, I got to be media responsible. I believe, I suspect, based on some information and belief, I can't tell all my source stuff. But my prophetic gift tells me that she's in direct contact with Hillary Clinton's camp. So when you see Joy talking, she's always trying to find a way to defend Hillary Clinton. It doesn't matter what the topic is. But Joy relieves her of this responsibility concerning us. Watch this. While on the campaign trail for her husband in New Hampshire, the First Lady told her audience justifying President Clinton's draconian and racist 1994 crime bill. I'm getting ready to read you a quote. We also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation, we had an organized effort against the mob. This is a quote from Hillary Clinton. Y'all listen in 1994 concerning her husband's draconian bill. She says, we need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. You see how she lied to Jonathan and said she was talking about just a drug? No, you weren't. Listen. She said they're often connected to big drug cartels. Watch this. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. She took them out of the categories of being innocent babies. Did y'all hear that? She said they are not just gangs of kids anymore. She labeled our Black babies like this. They are often the kinds of kids who are called super predators. She removed Black boys, young Black adolescent boys, from being children, and she called them a special class of an animal. I'm calling it. She specifically saying super predators. She said no conscience, no empathy. She says we can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heal. What do you refer to when you say you're bringing something to heal? HEEL, family. I said, what species are you referring to when you talk about bringing something or someone to heal? When you label someone a super predator, when you specifically say they have no conscience and no empathy, you got that right. Whoever's saying a dog, all of you are correct. Keep listening. It is thus not the cartels that she's describing. So she lied to Jonathan Capehart's little juicy self. That's why she was talking to his juicy self, juicy, dewy self, because she knew that black-looking Negro would let her get away with the murder of black folks and evade culpability for our undoing by labeling us a certain way. And this was one of the main jobs of white women. They helped to create the environment, the social environment for such things.